Hello and welcome back to the Stepping Bricks YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Giuseppe Paladini and I'm here today to show you my very first investment property. Now, when I started out, I was pretty much scared. So if you can relate with this, well, here we go. So I started out with my very first investment property. However, the pain was stronger than the challenge. Now you always need to put these two things on the scale. So if the pain is stronger than the challenge, it means that you don't care about the challenge and how difficult it is to get to this point to replace the pain with the gain. So this is quite important when you start out any business, specifically if you're starting out in property. So if your pain is stronger than the challenge, who cares about the challenge? We get to the pain converted into the gain. Now, the very first property, I didn't have the money to buy it. So obviously I was learning about equity release and I understood that the money was hidden into my house, my residential house. And what we did, we called the bank, we asked if we could release some money from the house, which means increasing your mortgage. And you can release this money tax-free, and then you can reinvest them into another property. Now, my wife was a bit scared. Obviously, a lot of people are quite scared to think, oh, do I need to increase the mortgage in my own house? Well, the reality is you're not spending this money. You are reinvesting. You're moving from one property, your residential, to another property, your investment, which is going through the rent to pay this mortgage and possibly give you extra cash in your pocket. Now the bank released the money straight away. I've invested in the first property, and bear in mind the timeline was quite narrow. What I mean by that, when I started learning about property investing, it was September. Then that was 2017. Then in October, I started to go out and do viewings, make offers, and I got this offer accepted on this property. However, I didn't have the money. So I rushed it, and towards mid-November, the bank released the cash. And then on the 1st of December, then I've completed on this fantastic property. Now, it's not a big property, it's a flat, 2-bedroom flat. But you know what? It was mine. It was mine. And I was kind of emotional about this because it's your first baby, let's say. And then every night from the moment of the offer accepted to the moment of completion, that was about 2 months, 8 weeks. Every night when I was coming back from work, I was parking nearby, which is on this very street, and I was going to this big red door, and I was just caressing this big red door. And I know it might sound ridiculous, but you know what? It was my first property, so I was quite happy and emotional about that. Now, unfortunately, this door is not red anymore, so they painted dark gray, but I'm going to show you exactly what property it is, and I'm going to give you the exact numbers and figures from when I rented out to how it's rented out now. So when I started, we rented out for £525 per month, okay? So it was a good rent. However, over the years, so we pay about £24,000 for this property. Over the years, I'm talking about seven years roughly, the property is now worth 120. I haven't spent much on this property in terms of refurb, but the rent now is £1,000 a month, and it could go even higher than that. So as you can see, even if you don't do absolutely anything, the property value will go up, but also the rent will go up because the mortgages will also go up. So it's like the cost of living for everybody, not just for the tenants, or also for the landlords, but also for any sort of business. I'm sure 100% if you go to the supermarket, you're not going to pay exactly the same kilo of potatoes that you used to pay 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Obviously the inflation affects price, but also inflation works in your favor, because if you have a debt like a buy-to-let mortgage, the buy-to-let mortgage over the years will shrink over time because of inflation, so your debt also decreases. On the opposite side, if you have savings in the bank, that is a real danger, because your savings in the bank is going to shrink over time too. So it's better to move these savings into an investment property, and the investment property is then going to increase in value, increase in rent, increase in cash flow, and also increase your lifestyle. And here we go in my very first investment property, and this was the door, which was red, but now, as I say, it's been painted dark gray. And what I was doing every single night, it was this. You know, I loved it. But the thing is, once you get your first one, you have, you know, a lot of emotions. You go up and down, up and down. You don't know if it's the right thing to do. But the reality is, once you see the results, you gain that confidence, and then you're going to do it again and again and again. And we did it, you know, 26 times, which is not for the faint-hearted. But the plan is to grow even more than that. Now, if you think about the short time, you know, we grew this portfolio. Plus, we integrated different property strategies like rent to buy, commercial, service accommodation, rent to rent, buy to let, buy refurbish or refinance, flip. So we've done a few strategies altogether. If you consider the short time we've done this one, you know, it's quite impressive, which means you can do it as well. Now, remember, I started with no money in the bank, so I had to release money from my own mortgage. And if you are in a similar position, you know, that's the best thing to do. If you don't have a house, there are other property strategies you can implement where you don't need an actual house to get started. Likewise, if you don't have money in the bank, or if you don't have the time, or if you don't have the knowledge, property strategies is like a toolbox. Okay, you just use the right tool for the right job. So you cannot just use one tool for every single job. Okay, so now if you want to learn more about these property strategies, I put together a 90-minute free masterclass. And this masterclass covers all the property strategies that are working right now in the current market, and also it works regarding your particular situation. You know, whatever your particular situation is, it doesn't matter, because there is a property tool that you can use for the right property job. So I'll put the link to registering this free masterclass in the comments, in the description below. You just need to click. It's free to attend, and it's about 90 minutes. Take pen and paper, because there is a lot of content I'm going to share with you. And if you want to ask any questions, there will be a free chat there where you can just ask any questions, any doubts you might have during the masterclass. So my name is Dr. Giuseppe Paladini. I'm the founder of Stepping Bricks, and I'll see you on this masterclass. Bye bye for now.